Unable to find anything wrong with the photos, they decided to run the story.
Most of the fairy circles are in remote areas.
It turns out that there is a mysterious sunken object located at the bottom of the ocean.
Ever question the boundaries of reality? Get ready for a wild ride as we unveil 20 perplexing photos that defy explanation. From mysterious Naga fireballs lighting up the sky to spectral figures caught on film, these images have left even the experts scratching their heads. It's a journey into the uncharted, where the enigmatic meets the extraordinary. Out of the hundreds of thousands of photos that depict the bizarre, these ones stand out as people have struggled to debunk them. Are you ready to challenge what you thought was possible? Join us as we take a look at 20 real photos that scientists cannot explain. 20. Ghost at the Shining Hotel. The 108-year-old Stanley Hotel in Estes Park, Colorado, is renowned for its supernatural occurrences. Offering a spirit tour to visitors, the historic hotel served as the inspiration for Stephen King's chilling 1977 book, The Shining.
Here's Johnny!
While the tour doesn't guarantee paranormal experiences, the Mosling family from Aurora, Colorado, might have had an encounter without realizing it. During the tour, John Mausling and his wife Jessica Martinez Mausling took several snapshots, encouraged by the opportunity for photography. Upon reviewing their pictures, they noticed what seemed to be a young girl near the staircase in one of the images. Despite the tour being family-friendly, the Mauslings were perplexed because they couldn't recall any young girls on the 11-person tour. Upon questioning their kids' girlfriends, and their friends, no one remembered seeing a little girl. The Mauslings themselves had no recollection of the girl on the stairs when taking the photo. Ben Hansen, a former FBI agent and host of Fact or Faked, Paranormal Files examined the photo and suggested that it doesn't appear to be fake. Hansen shared that he appreciates the photo, considering it one of the best instances of potential paranormal evidence he has seen, provided it hasn't been manipulated. He acknowledged that if it were a hoax, the level of detail and creativity would be commendable, as hoaxes typically exhibit noticeable signs. The Mauslings discovering the presence of one uninvited ghost suggested the existence of a possible second one ascending the staircase. Although it might seem like another blurred person at first glance, the Mauslings insisted that only 2 people were on the staircase when the photo was taken. Moreover, they highlighted a peculiar detail. The lower half of this person should be visible through the stair railing posts, similar to the tour guide and the person on the stairs, but it's indistinct. 19. Time-traveling hipster. Moving on to another intriguing picture, a photograph captured during the reopening of the South Fork Bridge in Goldbridge, British Columbia in 1941 raised suspicions of a time traveler.
You see a man who appears to be way too modern to be in the 1940s.
In this image, the individual's clothing and sunglasses appear modern and inconsistent with 1940s fashion. Additionally, the camera held by the man seemed inappropriately advanced for the period. This photograph gained recent internet attention, earning the man the nickname time-traveling hipster. Upon further investigation, it was found that the man's appearance, initially deemed modern, could have been appropriate for 1941. The sunglasses he wore, for instance, had been in style since the 1920s. Although some observers initially thought he was sporting a printed t-shirt, closer inspection revealed it to be a sweater with a sewn-on emblem, a common garment for sports teams during that era. The shirt's design resembled the one used by the Montreal Maroons, an ice hockey team from the same period. While the rest of his attire seemed period appropriate, it leaned towards a more casual style compared to others in the photograph. Even though his camera appeared smaller than most of that time, similar-sized cameras existed, and although the make remains uncertain, Kodak had produced portable cameras of comparable size since 1938. The case of the time-traveling hipster evolved into a subject of study within viral internet phenomena. It was presented at the Museums and the Web 2011 conference held in Philadelphia. 18. Naga fireballs. This is a photo of glowing balls rising from the Mekong River in Thailand during the full moon at the end of the Buddhist Lent.
The Mekong River releases balls of fire into the sky. Some people think it's a mythical serpent.
Witnesses have described seeing fireballs ascending into the air before vanishing. This phenomenon, known as the Naga fireball, has attracted tens of thousands of spectators for over a century. Occurring along a 250-kilometer stretch east of the Laos capital Vientiane and Thailand's border town of Nong Khai, it remains without a definitive explanation. In certain years, observers witness varying numbers of Naga fireballs in a single night, ranging from hundreds to just a dozen or so across multiple nights. According to local legend, the fireballs are attributed to the Naga, a mythical serpent prevalent in Laotian mythology and culture. However, skeptics have sought alternative explanations. In 2002, a Thai TV program proposed that the fireballs resulted from tracer fire from Laos, a notion rejected by villagers on both sides of the river. They took offense at the suggestion that the Naga might not exist and that they were attempting to deceive others. Another theory suggests that the fireballs stem from flammable methane or phosphine gas produced by plant and animal life on the riverbed, or from bioluminescent creatures ascending into the sky. Regardless of the preferred explanation, one thing remains certain. There is no definitive scientific resolution to the phenomenon, despite annual investigations by experts armed with high-tech equipment. While the captivating light display has been occurring for decades, it was only in the early 1990s that people started flocking to optimal viewing spots along the riverbanks. These gatherings have transformed into lively events, resembling a Thai version of a tailgate party, where attendees indulge in eating, drinking, dancing, and socializing. Some individuals occasionally set off fireworks, eliciting cheers from the crowd and ensuring the presence of onlookers eager to witness the spectacle and spend money. 17. Pyramid on the Moon. This specific image was captured by Apollo 17 during its final journey to the moon. Interestingly, NASA initially labeled this image as blank. However, upon retouching, it became apparent that the image contained some details. Through increased contrast, viewers have identified the presence of a pyramid in the photograph. The disparity between the initial classification and the later revealed content has sparked speculation about concealed features on the moon that NASA has not disclosed publicly. Apollo 17, conducted in December 1972, marked NASA's last manned mission to the moon. Eugene A. Cernan took this particular photograph while on the rover. An online observer suggested that by examining the sequence of images captured before and after this specific photograph, the pyramid structure might be an overexposed image of the rover seat. 16. McMinnville UFO. Around 7:45 in the evening, Evelyn Trent called for her husband while tending to their rabbits in the yard of their Dayton farm. She described seeing something resembling a parachute canopy without the strings.
It just come up like that and it tipped. And just...
Excitedly, she rushed into the house, located her husband, and grabbed their camera. Together, they hurried back to the yard, where Paul Trent also spotted the object. He saw a round, shiny, wingless object hovering in the sky. Paul Trent, a 43-year-old farmer, managed to capture 2 photographs before the flying object vanished into the evening mist. These images, taken in June 1950, a month after Paul Trent captured them, gained significant renown and were published by the McMinnville Telephone Register and the Oregonian. Following the Oregon newspapers, Life magazine presented the unidentified flying object to its national audience. Subsequently, a U.S. Air Force investigator visited the Trent farm outside McMinnville. Paul Trent described the object as approaching them and slightly tilted up. He mentioned its brightness, almost silvery, and the absence of any noise. The investigator, familiar with such accounts during the golden age of UFO sightings, had encountered numerous stories. However, unlike most tales of alien crafts that were easily disproved, such as being weather balloons or private planes, the Trent's photos were an exception. In 1967, the Air Force enlisted nuclear physicist Edward U. Condon to lead an extensive UFO study. The resulting 950-page report, titled Scientific Study of Unidentified Flying Objects, readily dismissed many reported sightings. Nevertheless, it acknowledged that at least one, showing a disc-shaped object in flight over Oregon, is classed as difficult to explain in a conventional way. The study affirmed the authenticity of the photos and the credibility of the Trent. According to the study, this is one of the few UFO reports that appeared consistent in all investigated factors, genetic, psychological, and physical, with the assertion that an extraordinary flying object, silvery, metallic, disc-shaped, tens of meters in diameter and evidently artificial, flew within sight of 2 credible witnesses. 15. Fairy circles. Fairy circles are circular patches of barren land ranging from 7 to 49 feet in diameter. Discovered in the arid grasslands of southern Africa and Australia, these circles have intrigued scientists for years.
So I went there year by year and nothing happened. And that was frustrating and demotivating.
Despite extensive research, the origin and creators of fairy circles remain uncertain. Numerous hypotheses have been proposed, but none have definitively explained the formation of fairy circles. Some suggest that a specific termite species might be responsible, while others attribute the patterns to natural vegetation competition, asserting that this phenomenon extends beyond the range of these termites. This complex puzzle has left scientists puzzled. Understanding the mystery of fairy circles has proven challenging, particularly given the variations observed in different regions. The circles in Australia form on sand, whereas those in Namibia form on clay. Botanists have dismissed theories involving termites, radioactive soil, and plant toxins, while others insist on them, proposing that residual plant toxins from Euphorbia damarana plants contribute to the barren interiors of the circles. In 2012, termite casts were discovered within all fairy circles, and radar investigations indicated the presence of a moist soil layer beneath them. However, the definitive answer to the fairy circle mystery remains elusive. 14. Baltic Sea UFO. Discovered by a group of subwater explorers in 2011, a 60-meter-wide unique entity with a vast disk, twice the size of a football field, lies deep under the freezing waters of the Gulf of Bothnia in the Baltic Sea region. This Baltic Sea anomaly is an unprecedented finding, surrounded by an aura of mystery.
This object has continued to defy all attempts to uncover its origins.
Commonly referred to as the Baltic Sea Mystery and the Baltic Sea Mystery Object. Located in the waters between Sweden and Finland, it resembles a mushroom, rising 3, 4 meters or 13 feet from the seabed. The main object exhibits straight edges, construction lines, and boxes drawn. The large mushroom-like top of the object also displays cracks filled with an unidentified black material. It has been described as the Giant Stone, a portal to another world, underwater Stonehenge, or strange stone circle formations created by some past civilization. The mystery surrounding the entity arises not from a lack of knowledge about its size and shape, but from the explorers' and other scientists' inability to classify the reason for its presence at the bottom of the sea. Situated at a depth of approximately 91 meters under the Gulf's waters, the entity has a roundish shape with a circumference of about 18 meters. The unique shape and its unusually tall height of at least 13 meters have led to scientific claims suggesting that the entity is an unidentified flying object. The claims about the Baltic Sea mystery gained further support when pavement-like platforms were discovered extending from the entity to a distance of about 300 meters. Another factor contributing to the UFO claims in the Baltic Sea region was the malfunction of the explorers' electrical equipment, such as sonar instruments and satellite phones, in close proximity to the unidentified entity. 13. Black Knight Satellite. In 1954, Donald Kehoe, a retired naval aviation major and UFO researcher, claimed that the U.S. Air Force had detected 2 satellites orbiting Earth. However, during that period, no country possessed the technology to launch satellites, leading to speculation about the origin of these objects. Some conspiracy theorists even suggested that one of the satellites is a 13,000-year-old extraterrestrial artifact.
Misinformation or sightings of objects which seem to be one thing but are in fact another.
The Black Knight satellite conspiracy theory emerged from these reports, proposing that an extraterrestrial spacecraft is in a near-polar orbit around Earth, and NASA is allegedly covering up its existence and origin. This theory combines various unrelated stories into a single narrative. One specific claim associated with the Black Knight satellite theory is a photo taken during the STS-88 mission. However, NASA cataloged this photo as an image of space debris. Space journalists consider it to be probable debris from a lost thermal blanket during the mission. The reports from 1954 about 2 satellites detected by the U.S. Air Force, when combined with the Black Knight satellite conspiracy theory, have sparked speculation about the existence of an ancient extraterrestrial spacecraft orbiting Earth. However, skepticism and alternative explanations, such as the photo being space debris, offer different perspectives on these claims. 12. Hessdalen lights. Since the 1940s, a perplexing light phenomenon has been witnessed in the Hessdalen Valley, Norway. These lights manifest as white or yellow lights of unidentified origin, appearing to stand or float above ground level. From 1981 to 1984, the lights were seen up to 20 times a week. However, the frequency of these lights has decreased significantly since then, occurring only 10 to 20 times per year. Despite extensive research and various hypotheses surrounding this phenomenon, there is no definitive explanation. Several plausible theories aim to explain these lights. Some individuals have mistakenly identified these lights as spaceships, aircraft, car headlights, UFOs, or mirages. One explanation attributes the phenomenon to dust particles scattered into the sky from nearby mining activities. Although not entirely understood, this theory suggests that the substantial deposits of scandium in Hessdalen may play a role, but it doesn't account for all observed properties of the lights. Another scientific hypothesis says that the lights result from clumps of large Coulomb crystals. Reports of elevated levels of radioactivity on the rocks near the light balls provide evidence for another hypothesis, suggesting a connection with radiation. Yet another hypothesis proposes that the lights may stem from electrically charged rocks or crystals. The true nature of the Hessdalen lights continues to baffle scientists to this day. 11. Hook Island Sea Monster. In 1964, an image portraying a peculiar creature surfaced, captured by French photographer Robert Serec.
Over there. What the fuck is that?
The photograph depicted something resembling a massive snake resting on the seafloor off the coast of Queensland, Australia. Speculation suggested that it might be a long tarp or a similar object, but no credible explanation has been identified for this peculiar photo. A conspicuous pale area, interpreted as a wound, appeared on the right side of the tail, leading to the speculation that it might have been caused by a ship's propeller, prompting the creature to seek refuge in the shallow bay. The eyes, positioned on the top of the head away from the front of the snout, had pale coloration and slit-shaped pupils. The creature, mostly black with brown transverse stripes, featured smooth textured skin, lacking fins, spines, or visible teeth inside its white mouth. There were allegations about Le Serec having unsettled debts in France and being perceived as untrustworthy. Some claimed he was wanted by Interpol. In February 1965, Ivan Sanderson was contacted about the story and suggested that the object might be a plastic bag used by the U.S. Navy for towing experiments with petrol, a deflated skyhook balloon covered in weed, or a roll of cloth tied together in places. Despite these explanations, there is no conclusive evidence for what this photo really shows. 10. Bigfoot. The Patterson-Gimlin film stands out as the most renowned video capturing Bigfoot. Filmed by Roger Patterson and Robert Bob Gimlin on October 20th, 1967, this 60-second-long footage has become an iconic piece of Bigfoot mythology, subject to ongoing scrutiny, analysis, and debate. The film showcases an unidentified subject asserted by the filmmakers to be Bigfoot. Numerous attempts have been made to either authenticate or debunk the footage's legitimacy. Patterson, who passed away in 1972, believed in the reality of the creature depicted in the film. Gimlin, Patterson's friend, consistently denied any involvement in a hoax related to the footage. For many years, Gimlin avoided public discussion of the matter, making only a few appearances. However, around 2005, he began giving interviews and participating in Bigfoot conferences. While zoologists argue that the information about Bigfoot is evidently fabricated, there are still steadfast believers in Bigfoot, including some scientists hoping for conclusive proof of its existence. 9. Unknown light on Mars. NASA's Curiosity rover, as it explored the desolate Martian landscape, captured a perplexing image that intrigued Earth-based observers. In the photograph, a peculiar light emanates from the far side of a valley, prompting questions about the supposedly uninhabited planet. Speculation quickly ensued. Could this light be an indication of life on Mars? The images sent by Curiosity sparked a captivating debate, leaving us with more questions than answers. The distinct bright spot appeared in two separate photos taken on different days by Curiosity's right-hand navigation camera, notably absent in images from the left-hand camera, a stereo camera. Does this unidentified light hint at the existence of extraterrestrial life, challenging the notion of our isolation in the vast universe? No one knows for sure, but NASA denies that it is. 8. The Piri Reis map. The Piri Reis map represents one of the oldest post-Columbian world maps known to exist. Compiled in 1513, its remarkable level of detail has intrigued and confused scholars for years, especially concerning the North and South American continents. The map's accuracy and portrayal of Antarctica have given rise to various myths and legends regarding its origins, primarily because Antarctica was not officially sighted until 1820, roughly 300 years after the map's creation. Some argue that the advanced nature of the map suggests the involvement of a remarkably skilled cartographer ahead of their time. Others explore more speculative theories, suggesting the possibility of extraterrestrial involvement in its creation while orbiting the Earth. These theories have led to speculations about earlier discoveries of Antarctica and even the existence of pyramids on the frozen continent. 7. Newby Monk. The Newby Monk, also known as the Spectre of Newby Church, is the name given to the ghostly apparition captured in a photograph taken on the grounds of Newby Hall's own Church of Christ the Consoler. The Reverend Kenneth F. Lord took the image in 1963 and remarked that the infamous monk-like shape was not present at the time of taking the photograph. When the image was developed and circulated, speculation arose about what or who the murky humanoid shape might be. Initial speculation turned to mysterious clergy, with many suggesting that the figure resembled a 16th century monk. The white blur covering his face is commonly thought to be a shroud, potentially concealing leprosy or a similar facial disfigurement. Some argue that the monk is merely an accomplice covered in bedsheets. While many believe the figure to be 9 feet tall, skeptics contend that the accomplice is simply standing on a box since the monk's feet are not visible. Nevertheless, the blurred visage of the monk captured the public imagination and became a topic for tabloids and paranormal groups. Numerous reports claim that photographic experts found no evidence of tampering with the image. However, other investigators argue that it exhibits all the hallmarks of a double exposure image, where 2 or more images are superimposed to create the appearance of a single image. To date, there has been no clear explanation for the reason and method of producing the Newby Monk. Newby Church itself is not a site for ghost hunts or frequent claims of paranormal events. The 1960s specter is the only report of spirit activity. In comparison, the church is relatively young, having been founded in 1876. 6. The Brown Lady of Raynham Hall. In 1936, 2 photographers from Country Life magazine, Captain Hubert C. Provand and Indra Shira, were tasked with capturing images of Raynham Hall. Unbeknownst to them, they would become witnesses to the spectral inhabitant of the estate. As they ascended the grand staircase, they encountered the apparition of Lady Dorothy herself, a ghostly figure draped in brown attire. In a moment filled with both terror and opportunity, Captain Provand promptly captured the ghostly vision on film. The resulting photograph, renowned as one of the most famous ghost images ever taken, depicted the ethereal brown lady descending the staircase, her features obscured by a mist-like veil. This image would go on to captivate the imagination of generations and firmly establish the legend of the Brown Lady. The ghostly occurrences at Raynham Hall go beyond the iconic photograph. Visitors, staff, and residents alike have reported eerie phenomena: unexplained footsteps, flickering lights, and glimpses of a lady in brown drifting through the corridors. Each account echoes the melancholic tale of Lady Dorothy and the circumstances surrounding her afterlife. 5. Costa Rica stone spheres. On the small island of Isla del Caño and the Diquís Delta in Costa Rica, a photo of mysterious stone spheres was captured. These are the Diquís spheres, and they vary in size, ranging from just a few centimeters to over 2 meters in diameter. These spheres were shaped by hammering boulders into a rudimentary spherical form using denser rocks. Subsequently, they were refined by polishing the stone's surface with sand.
I mean, they're 10 feet in diameter. They're gigantically huge.
Upon the arrival of the Spanish to the region in the 16th century, contemporary accounts from European explorers made no mention of large stone spheres in the communities they encountered. By 1570, an expedition led by Perafon de Ribera added to the mystery, as there were no indications of indigenous settlements in his reports. This suggested that by that time the large Diquís communities had either abandoned their homes or had succumbed to unknown reasons, possibly infectious diseases introduced to the continent by the Spanish. The spheres remained forgotten until the 1930s, when they were rediscovered by the United Fruit Company while clearing the jungle for banana plantations. To this day, scientists do not know what these spheres were used for. 4. Mysterious UFO on Mars. Perseverance's left navigation camera captured a photo of Mars terrain scattered with boulders and a cloudy sky, with an unidentified object present in the sky. Online users speculated and made humorous comments about the object, ranging from an alien craft to a UFO, an ant, or a plastic bag. The truth behind the dark object is unknown. 3. Florida Skunk Ape. In the marshy lands of the Florida Everglades, a mysterious creature has been reportedly sighted by numerous residents, with accounts dating back to the late 1960s or early 1970s. A surge in sightings occurred during the fall of 1974, particularly in suburban neighborhoods of Dade County. In September 1998, David Shealy captured over 20 pictures of the creature while in the swamp. His quest for this entity began in 1973 after an initial encounter with his brother. Resembling Bigfoot, the creature walks on two legs like a human, but is distinct for its skunk-like odor, earning it the name the Skunk Ape. 2. Mysterious Spaceman. The Solway Spaceman image, snapped by Jim Templeton in England in 1964, features a figure resembling a spaceman behind Templeton's daughter. Templeton, claiming he saw no one else present during the photo, fueled speculations of extraterrestrial involvement. Several theories have been posited, suggesting the figure could be Templeton's wife with her back to the camera, or even a mysterious time traveler. Despite these conjectures, no conclusive evidence supports the existence of a spaceman in the photograph, which garnered international attention and sparked heated debates. 1. Moon UFO. In 1972, astronauts captured brief video footage revealing an object near the moon resembling a spacecraft from another world. The object swiftly moved out of the camera's frame and reappeared within a 4-second interval. Speculations arose, proposing the object's potential as either an extraterrestrial spacecraft or a vessel from competing nations. However, no definitive evidence has been presented to substantiate these claims, leaving the nature of the object shrouded in mystery. Let us know in the comments below if you think we missed any unexplained, mysterious photos. See you next time.